Alright, what's up everybody? It's MeAngry from the azaG guild. I'm going to be doing a little showcase of how the mid-level players in the guild should be taking care of the mini-bosses in Kairos dungeon. So real quick, I'm just checking my shop. Haven't played that much today. I'll come over to Tartarus. And let's get started with this dude, Leos. So Leos, number one thing you're going to want is an immunity. The key to Leos is to kind of save your immunity. If he's the first person who goes on your team, and you don't really have violent runes on your immunity team, you're going to be able to get that first person to cycle twice, which means that you have a better chance of saving that cleanse and immunity for the second time he goes on the first boss turn, which is going to give you a longer immunity in case someone bioprocs. You avoid those stuns. For me, luckily, I have Wusa. You can use really any immunity for this guy, as long as it's reliable. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. Your damage dealers aren't super important, but you do want someone who can do a decent amount of damage. You're going to want to take out the Despair Tower as much as you can, because chances are you'll end up losing that immunity at some point and possibly getting stunned. Verad isn't that necessary. He's just there for some AoE damage to get some damage on both of the towers. This team, typically, I fuck up on the towers every now and then, so you can expect to see that. I usually just auto through these stages, so this should go pretty quick. There's nothing else to really know here. The will tower on all these bosses isn't mega important. The biggest thing it's going to do for you is let you get the defense break on to get more damage in. So I always focus the Despair Tower first. Here we go, first stage is done. Go to the second level. He's probably, this was actually the hardest one for me when I started with Tartarus. I didn't have what I thought was a good team for him. I was using Delphoy a lot here, and I was using a lot more violent runed people too. Whereas now the only violent person on this team is Bella and Verad, so I don't have too much room for fucking up with violent procs, because it'll really ruin your turn order. So we're gonna come over here and we're gonna start. So like I said, you have Wusa's immunity buff up. I'm gonna save that for the second round and just try and get some damage on here. Absolute 0, a little more AoE damage, get the defense break on. Now I have a decision to make here. I think I can kill one of these with the first skill. Nope, didn't get it, so we'll try and do that. Got a little lucky there. And we're going to immunity buff. So even though I didn't get the will tower, it's not a huge deal. I avoid all those stuns. Just do some damage in this little window I have here. So hopefully Bella doesn't go again, because if he does, he's going to not have immunity buff, and I'm going to get stunned. Or have the chance of getting stunned, because he doesn't have the Despair Tower up. Okay, so there we go. So now we're back to square one. I'm going to hit defense break there so I can crush this one and get some good damage on both. If I had to make a decision, I think I'm going to kill that one here and use KFG over there. Another absolute 0. Defense break. Only Bella got stunned, so that's lucky. We're going to put up Push of Immortality. Big nuke with Teor. Little damage, save the AoE skills for when the towers come back up, because I'll probably need them. A little more damage. And start working on the towers again. So a little AoE, a little AoE. Another hit there. Kill the will tower because it's full HP and I have a better chance of killing this one here. And we're going to just do that. Wusa got stunned this time, Teor too, so there goes my big damage dealer, but I can still get... Oh, no defense break, that sucks. Just a little bit more damage. He doesn't do a huge amount of damage, so it's not that big of a deal. I don't think Wusa's going to go again, so we're going to do immunity now. Absolute 0, crush this one, and destroy will tower. So now I'm going to get some free range of damage here, hopefully. Don't think Bella's going to go again. I really want to try and force that second turn now, so when he has to turn, there we go. I'll eat those 2 shots here. that. Try and get that tower down. Bring this up. Go for the 2-turn defense break. Take out the spare tower. Absolute 0. And Squall. Just damage here, because no matter what happens, I'm going to win this at this point. And there's Leos. So again, he's pretty easy. Just make sure you have that immunity buff and try to get that despair tower down. My tower is very squishy, so that should be a testament of how you don't really need... Nice little grindstone there. Don't really need anybody too tanky to take down this boss. The guy who you do need, I would say, a little bit more tanky for is Kodos. It's kind of a pain in the ass, especially with his dots. But same thing, same deal. I use Delfoy here for the immunity there. Chow is just a damage dealer here. Beth gives me AoE damage, so she can take out the turrets for me. She also does good damage on the boss single target. Now, Brandia is my fucking nuke here. You're gonna see what she does, and then I have a little cleanse off Kona, just in case Delfoy's cleanse isn't up. If I do get hit and I do take dots, I will use Kona to cleanse the team. So same deal here. I usually auto through the first 2 stages. We're just gonna watch him do work. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Seeing Delfoy using her cleanser is gonna be a pain in the ass now. Then we go into the boss stage. So the first thing I'm gonna do is increase her attack bar so I can see if I can get defense break and kill the towers, and I did. That's a perfect scenario right there. Now, like I said, Delfoy used her cleanse like a fucking idiot, so I don't have that up. I'm kind of debating. I don't think I'm gonna get attack buff on Brandia again, so I'm just gonna go ahead and hit this. 62k, not bad. Cleanse with Kona. Hit it again with defense break. Cleanse with Delfoy. Take immunity. Try and get that second hit out. Perfect. A little more debuffs. Who do I want to go here? I think I'm going to do this and get a justice hit. And this boss is done. So 2 cleansers. Really 1 immunity should be fine if you bring another cleanser. But I bring 2, and you know, you don't really need a whole ton of defense. Nukers. You just bring a couple who do some good damage and make sure your team survives the dots. Another good grindstone. And last but not least, Gills. What the fuck does Gills do? We have stun. I think he does... Can't even remember. I don't know why I take this team. We're gonna find out though. I know I take little man Lucian here because he takes care of those side turrets for me. I don't think you don't need any immunity for this level, but I can't remember what that first tower is that this guy has, so we'll see in a second here. Hua just does decent damage. You can't take any attack bar from the boss, so she's just another little fire damage dealer since we're going into a win boss. And then Theo is another damage dealer. He also gives me defense break, which you'll see me use on the boss. I don't really use his triple crush for anything else besides the defense break on the boss. And he just used it there, so I'm not even going to have that on the first turn. Oh, he's got destroy. Yeah, this guy is like the least of my worries, to be honest with you. I'm going to take attack buff. Since I've already got that turret half down, and now this one's dead, I'm not going to use his S3 here. I'm going to use his S1. And now we're going to go for defense break on the boss. There it is. We're going to do attack debuff with Colleen. I like Colleen here for the attack debuff. Try to get glancing with Chasun. We got it. So now he has attack debuff and glancing, which makes it much easier to take the damage from him. And, you know, Theo's going to do work with his procs. We're going to get the healing block in there as well. Pretty sure he heals. Now we're going to do another little attack buff and bring their HPs up. More damage on the boss. Try and get defense break, no defense break. And I know Lucian with amputation is going to take all the towers out. So there's that. And basically here we go again. This is it. So that's a quick little summary of how I take down these 3 mini bosses. Once you get a decent team, it's not that hard. I think in all my teams I use 2 healers. Yeah, I use 2 healers on every single team. For Kodos, the guy who does the dots, the fire one, I bring at least 1 immunity buffer and 1 cleanser. Both of my healers are cleansers, but only 1 gives me immunity buff. And that's because those dots will fucking kill you if you don't have it. On Leos, the water one who stuns you, I bring 1 immunity buff, 1 heal. The immunity buff is necessary, but like I said, if you hold it, if you have your immunity buffer go first, he gets 2 turns, as long as you're not Vio-procking. So if you don't have monsters that Vio-proc in that team, you can make sure to do it on the end. Wusa's immunity buff is 3 turns, so if you don't have a buffer like that who gives you that kind of immunity, you're going to want to either bring another immunity buffer, or you're just going to want to make sure, I don't know, man, bring another immunity buffer. That's pretty much it, because you don't want to get those stuns. That'll ruin your team in a lot of cases. And that pretty much sums that up. Very simple, very easy. I don't use a whole lot of choice nat 5s. For lab specifically, it's pretty easy to sub those monsters out. You basically just want damage dealers, and then your healers are more specified to what you need. For Gil's, real simple, he does destroy damage, so if you have a shield, you'll avoid that destroy damage completely. Someone who shields. Otherwise, you're just going to want to have a lot of damage to take him before that destroy starts really pounding you in. But on basically all these bosses, AoE damage is great for your damage dealers because you can take those towers down. And that pretty much sums that up. Real simple, real easy, and let's conquer this lab, azaG, and anybody else who this video might help, you know, I'm glad to help. Peace out.